Welcome to my channel, Management for Excellence. I'm going to talk to you about 5 pillars of corporate success. Having spent about 32 years in the corporate world, operating at CXO level right now, I thought I should share some of the core principles around which the organizations are knit, they're designed, uh, and they want all their employees to really get aligned to these 5 pillars. I have done when I have worked in different organizations, and for the next generation people, it will be important to really eschew some of these thoughts and try to imbibe them as a professional. Uh, the world today actually is not looking for professionals. They are looking for things more than being just professional. They're expecting you to have the entrepreneurial mindset uh, while you're being professional. But the entrepreneurship as a culture and culture essential, it asks for more, much more than what a professional needs for success in life. Um, the professionals typically would live up to their responsibilities, uh, stick to the core values, and exhibit a behavior which is client centric, which is employee friendly, which works very well in the ecosystem. And there is a minimum waste in terms of human transaction uh, if you are a good professional. But when it comes to entrepreneurship, mindset of innovation, to be able to go into the details, to be able to take the ownership, uh, like an owner, a founder would have. So the owner's mentality is very important. One of the core values that really define entrepreneurship more than anything else is called stewardship. But stewardship basically has got 4 components. One is that it has the owner's mentality. It will enable you to take full responsibility of what you have taken up, and then actually makes you accountable. So you take the full accountability, not just the responsibility, but take the full accountability of the success of the mission or the goal that you have drawn for yourself. The last thing is leaving the legacy behind. So, meaning whatever you have been doing, whatever you are building, you don't want to carry it with you. You want to leave that behind you. You want that legacy behind for the next generation to follow. Um, so that's how stewardship as a core value is very important to the entrepreneurial mindset. So now let's go towards the first pillar of the corporate success. One I said is the aligning with the uh, vision, mission, and goals. But before that, you need to understand what is the organization purpose for which uh, the basic building blocks were drawn, and what is the fabric of the organization design. Why was that organization created as such? Um, so that will help you understand the purpose with which the founders have actually created that organization. Now you find your purpose too. Is your purpose, you have a purpose in life. Now what do you want to do in the mid to long term, not just short term? Short term is to kind of solve your immediate problems, but then in the mid to longer term, you are working towards a larger purpose in life. What is that purpose? If you have can find that out, just check with what is the organization purpose. If there is a similarity and there is a congruence somewhere, convergence, I guess this is the organization you should work for a longer time. And if this purpose parallel cannot be drawn, maybe you will frustrate and choke in some time and then look for some other organization. So see what that purpose for that organization is. Some organization might be kind of solving through providing all of that analytics and then making the world better. And so, like, you want to be the ultra rich man, or you want to be a solver? You want to solve for humanity, uplift the some section of society, or some bit of problem of the society or corporate or business world, by which you serve a larger purpose. What is that purpose? So if you're working for an organization which has got a very short-lived vision and absolutely no purpose, you will find yourself out of place. So get the purpose aligned. The second is vision alignment. The organizations have visions. So most well-drawn organizations on paper would obviously state their vision first. In their vision, which is actually a derivation from the purpose itself, these are longer statements, like it could be a one-liner, two-liner statements, right? Solving for the world, etc., could come into the vision. And then from the vision, there is a derivation that called mission. The mission would actually state the purpose more clearly, in more detail. You want to do it through technology, you want to do through some industry knowledge, or you want to do it through some social work, etc. Is basically that would come into the mission. And then there will be goals drawn. There will be goals, would be 3-4 longer term goals. Basically goals always would have number. They would have some targets and would have some number. So longer term goals, and then mid term goals, and short term goals. So short term goals could be in the 6 month to 1 month arena time frame, and a midterm could be 1 to 3 years. For some organization, it could be 5 years as well. And the longer term would be what is beyond 5 years. So 5 to 10, 5 to 15. In the longer term, there are some goals which company would have already drawn for them. And then you got to see where do you align with that. If you have a longer running plan, and if those goals really excite you, I think that's the place for you, actually. So this is the first pillar. If you're very well aligned to the purpose, vision, mission, and goal, I guess your machinery is well oiled to really move forward. And that's where you should have your start. That's where you should try, execute most of your skills, and you will learn here more because these alignments are very well understood. The second pillar of the corporate success is basically understanding the core values. So I was talking to you about the entrepreneurship and professionalism. And one of the core values that I talked to you about was stewardship, which had 4 distinct components, which was ownership mentality, taking full responsibility, being accountable, and then leaving a legacy behind. Similarly, there are more core values. Those core values are could be respect for individual, could be integrity, could be excellence, best people, client centricity, like one global network. So these are the core values, which you need to understand. And as a good professional, I would say you should remember all your core values. If you don't understand, there are organizations who conduct some coachings. They have sessions around making you understand the core values. So take up those sessions. If you want to learn it beyond that, talk to the leaders in the organization who exhibit their core values and understand from them. So you got to make sure that month on month, year on year, you exhibit some of those core values. And when you have exhibited those core values, you publish it. You go back to uh, uh, your community, you go back to your leaders and say that I struck this core value, and this is how it has helped achieve the organization's purpose, vision, mission, and goal. So, this would set example. And so basically, aligning with core values, understanding the core values, making sure you exhibited core values and demonstrate it to people that they are important to you, because people who work for you, who work around you, they would see you doing that, and they will learn from you, or they will show you as an example. These are a good showcase to the clients also, the customers also, that your culture essentials in the organization and the core values. Culture essentials are slightly different from the core value. They are more about what kind of culture you have in the organization. Um, I'll talk about culture essentials some other time. Core values and cultural essentials some other time. Some other video. More to cover over here. The third pillar that is important for any professional would be um, the awareness. Increasing your awareness. How much do you understand who you are, what your strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities are? Areas where you are extremely good, areas where you actually do very bad. So you play your strength. You look at opportunities very well, and try to kind of make sure that the weaknesses don't come in front all the time. You play your front foot forward where your strengths are, and threats are something that you really need to analyze, that these are the areas which could be my last priority. um, so understand who you are, basically what's your design and where is the area of improvement. How do you really get that knowledge, ability, and skill in you to be able to do better? Um, so, and then the awareness comes goes beyond you. So, kind of to understand who are the people who you are working with, and what are they doing. Uh, how much do you understand? So, I'm going to talk to you about the Joe Harry window of the ecosystem around you. Um, it talks about four quadrants, four windows as such. One window is through which you see the world and the world doesn't see you. And the second window is where the world sees you, but you don't see the world. The third window is where you don't see the world and the world doesn't see you. And the fourth window is both of you see each other. You see the world and the world sees you. So, understanding these four windows is very important. How much of the world you know, it will be somebody else who would tell you how much you would know. You always might feel that you know a lot about the world, but if there is someone to kind of oversee you, who will tell you that you hardly know anything about this world. Uh, so, and then the same way, what the world knows about you, you feel that the world sees you as you feel inside, that I am this, and the world knows that I am this. But actually, it is not. Whatever you feel inside is known to you, but the world outside perceives you entirely different. They actually don't. They don't get you anywhere as to what you feel inside. They completely sometimes take you contrary to what your beliefs about yourself are. So this is very important area to understand. The world doesn't really see you as you feel you are. And the third is where you are completely under dark, and there is no way the world can understand anything about you, is because you don't speak out, you don't exhibit, you don't really share, you don't network, you don't gel with people, you don't go around in the office or in the social arena. So there is less sharing. Uh, so they say the knowledge is power only when shared, right? So only when you start sharing a knowledge, you get more and more knowledge, and then there are corrections, and then your knowledge gets sharpened, and then that knowledge is something which is going to be very useful for your personal and professional life. So the fourth one is where you see the world and the world sees you. But how much of the world can you see? There is a limitation to that. It depends on your upbringing. It depends on your education. It depends on your intellect. Some people have higher intellect, uh, and then it depends on an emotional intelligence. So some people have their EQ as very high. Some people have their IQ as very high. They will understand more. They will judge things better. They will know people better. At the same time, when it comes to the world seeing you, they see you, but how much are they able to grasp about you? In the same way, it applies to them as well. Their IQ, their EQ, etc. There are books around this. By I think Daniel Coleman has written books on emotional intelligence and working with emotional intelligence. And IQ, etc. Basically, there are measures and analytics and some kind of mathematics and science around how an IQ is calculated. But I don't want to get more into detail about that. So understanding this Joe Harry window and increasing your awareness is very important for you to be a good leader. A good leader is a lot aware. You can't be fully aware. At best, they say that if you put all this in all four windows, at best somebody would be aware to the extent of 15% max of where you are on this planet, in this world, with the people, with all the diversities around you, with all the kind of diverse knowledge which is there in this world. Your awareness at max, when you are at best Albert Einstein and Isaac Newton or Dalai Lama or some Vivekananda or some top-notch people would be 15% aware of the world and the ecosystem around them and themselves, including themselves. Where would we fall? We might fall, in less than 5% or 5-6%, maybe less than that. That's the level of awareness that we have. But we always think that we know a lot. We hardly know nothing. Meaning we know everything. But it is contrary. So developing this awareness is very, very important because as a leader, one who is more aware is more absorptive, one he is more peaceful, is more analytical. The observability capability in the leader is very important. It will come from the awareness. So developing this awareness is very, very, very important. So there are leadership styles, right? Some people are autocratic in style. Some are very consultative. Some are very caring and loving, etc. So you need to draw that as well. What kind of leadership style that you have along with this awareness. So figure out. Don't change your pattern. There are certain drives that you are born with. There are some tendencies which are very, very positive. You get things done or you do yourself. Don't lose those tendencies. I would never advocate that. But at the same time, be fully aware and play your strength and don't let it become your weakness. Overdoing anything is also going to be killing. So don't overdo, normalize things, moderate it, but play your strength. Use your leadership style, but be fully aware of the consequences and impact on others. Also understand what have been the reactions of the people, draw lessons from them and note it down and use that to increase your awareness more and more. So feedback sessions are very important. Do your own surveys, find your own mechanisms to do surveys other than the organization surveys they do, and they give you a feedback once in a year, etc. You do that very often with your peer groups, with your people who report to you and your superiors. So take feedbacks and increase your awareness. Okay, so note it down, draw your self-development plan and action plan, but make sure your awareness about yourself is increasing year on year. And that is what will help you grow year on year as an individual. And if you don't grow as an individual, it is not possible to grow professionally. And the entrepreneurship obviously cannot be developed. The entrepreneurs are very, very aware people. They have finally come to a conclusion that they are not happy with the status quo and they want to change the status quo. Why they want to change the status quo is because they are now aware that there is much more than what I have that I can get away with. I haven't tried. So their awareness has actually gone one level above. So where does this all come? All those innovations, all those, you know, unicorns, etc. They all come from people who have gone through a next level of awareness, and they are finding a new purpose to life, and thereby they're drawing a new vision, new mission, drawing new goals, and then aligning, setting up their organization processes in such a way that the purpose, the vision and mission and goals are all going to be delivered through those processes. And they don't compromise on that because they are very clear with their purpose. So, and they would hire the best talent, they would hire the set of people who will help them deliver this. So, best people, help accomplish the mission. And there is no discount over that. So this is about increasing the awareness. The fourth pillar, which is very important, is the transaction analysis. There are many people who have written books on human transaction analysis. Eric Burns, I like personally this book, Games People Play, by Eric Burns. So when you're in the corporate world, you would be asked to do something, you would respond with in a certain way. There may be sometimes appropriate, sometimes not appropriate, and you're getting gauged for that. Your performance, either as a value creator or as an innovator or a people developer or the operator. These are the so basically value creators are innovator. So value creation, people development, and operations. These are the majorly three leadership dimension under which you are being gauged. So if you don't exhibit certain behavior, you would not be called as people developer. If you do your ability to do certain things repeatedly, every time you do that better and better, and you have operational excellence. And you are a value creator only if you innovate things. You are able to do things better, right, than before, because you have found better ways of doing it. And I say you are an innovator and you are a value creator. So so understanding when you are actually doing your job, when you are carrying out some of these attributes of these leadership dimensions to actually score more, to be able to more successful, you will see that there are people who give you stimuli for which the response is generally not great. So what are those stimuli and responses? Basically, in every human being, these books like Eric Burns' book and Napoleon Hill's book, I am okay, you are okay. There's another book. So you can go through them and understand the transaction analysis. They have talked about uh, um, multiple, ways of, understanding this transaction from three ego states. So they say that every human, you and me both, will have three ego states: parent, adult, and child. And this side also, parent, adult, and child. When two people interact, either you give a stimuli from a parent ego state or a child ego state or an adult ego state. And the response may also come from parent, adult, and child ego states. So if you give a parent stimuli, generally the responses are either parent or a child. Okay, so one who has a higher ego will respond from a parent ego state, and one who is childish will give a child, is like denial, saying that you asked me to do something, I don't want to do it. So that's a child response. And if you say you are asking someone to do something, and he says, "Who the hell are you to ask me all this?" He says again, yeah, it's actually seems like a parent response, but actually a childish response. A parent would say that I would suggest you do it. If you ask someone to do something, he would say, I suggest you do this. So that's a parent way of telling. But it doesn't really help in a professional organization. So what is actually asked for is that your stimuli and the responses generally should be from adult to adult. And it is seen that if your stimuli is from adult ego state, responses are more or less 99% adult only. And if you see that you are not getting a stimuli from adult ego state, then you bring that your response down to adult. If someone is giving a stimuli from parent ego state, you give a response from adult ego state, no matter what it is, to kind of smother it. So there is a level correction, ego state correction, that is in your hand. So if you are more aware person, if you have really started doing your self development and you understand the impact of the games people play with this human transaction, then you would do that course correction and bring it down to an adult level and send your response from adult level. And one or two transactions like this, the person might continue to give a response from say stimuli from parent ego state only, but you continue to give it from adult, and there will be a time when the person will mellow down and then will come to a level where that exchange will happen effectively with lesser loss of energy or no loss of energy. So when your stimuli and responses are from parent and child ego states, both sides, and stimuli and responses, there is a huge energy loss. Because the score is not settled over there, you go back home, there is a mental transaction that goes on in your mind. It continued. He said this to me, he should not have said this to me, I said this, it is not adequate, I could have said more about this to him, I lost that opportunity, tomorrow when I go I will do that, I will score, settle the level the score with him, and kind of, so it's like a battle. So the battle happens in your mind first, and then it may not happen actually, but it actually happens in your mind. And in the professional boundaries that the organization would have drawn, you may not be able to say certain things, or if you say something, then it goes against the rules, etc. But in mental transactions, it's actually sucking all your energy and making you a very, very bad professional. And the output from you, the productivity goes down, your creativity goes down. It is really not good for you. So understanding these human transactions is really very, very important. So read these books. There are some role plays over there. They say, and then when if you read some of these books, you'll realize that your responses typically are not developed from just the stimuli. It is actually a lot depends on your upbringing. If you have gone through some bad experiences in your childhood, and your mind is conditioned to a particular stimuli, your reactions are actually coming from those experiences that you have drawn when you are growing, right? So if there is not so good environment around you, in your family, in the society, in the part of subcontinent where you grew, that conditioning will have impact on your responses. So be aware of that. When you are aware, you will observe it. You will, in the observance, those experiences dissolve, and then you are able to bring it to the level playing field where adult to adult conversations would be possible. So that is about the transaction analysis. So parent adult child, there are some complementary transactions, and the some which are not complementary transactions. So when you are at home, when you talk to your child, you instruct something, the child obeys, right? It's a complementary transaction. But there are some supplementary transactions. There are transactions where there is ego clashes, etc. Just avoid ego classes, and there is no point. Either you should not be in that situation, or you create a situation which is better for you and for both the parties. So that the nicer way of handling the situation. Managing the difficult conversation, right? This is very, very important. Like, if you are feeling shy of giving feedback to your subordinate, or you are getting embarrassed while a feedback is being given to you from your leader, from your supervisor, these are all difficult conversations. So when receiving, feedback, if you're not open, you are actually creating a difficult situation for you, and those difficult conversations will go against you. While the supervisor has an obligation to give you the message, give you the feedback, you're not receiving it. At the same time, you feel shy of giving these, messages to your subordinates because you don't have the ability to manage that difficult conversation. This is an art, basically. There's no science here. This is an art. You say it in a way that the messages reach that person, he knows clearly, but you have to communicate that in writing. Okay? And not just verbal. In a professional world, if you want to communicate a feedback, you should also put into the feedback form before you really tell to that person. I have written it down. It is there in black and white for you. There is a reference for you. So this is very, very important. Transaction analysis and the way you manage the difficult conversation. The last thing I would talk to you about, the fifth pillar, is the savers principle, I'll say. Okay. So savers means if you do this 6 things, now you will save yourself. This will help you save in the professional world. What are those things? So it is drawn from the spelling of the savers, SAVERS. Okay. First S is sleep well. Okay. So in the IT world, people work hard, 18 hours, 20 hours, and sometimes client demands you to be working overnight, and then you sleep 2 nights and all that, at a stretch, etc. So your health goes for a toss, and then eventually you have lost yourself. You are not the same person. So sleep well, then affirm yourself, which is A. Affirm every day morning that you will do it. You have a goal and you're going to meet that goal. Okay. So affirm yourself. V is visualization. You should have, when you have a vision, you should be able to visualize that. When those things happen, this is how things will change, right? And then you work for that change. It's because you, so visualization that you need to really work upon, which is aligned to your vision, is the third thing out of the savers. And then is the exercise. Every day you should exercise. Do some bare minimum which will keep your blood running, and help you assimilate whatever you have eaten, whatever you have thought. You have dissipated few things, cleanse up your system, refreshed yourself with thoughts, with food, with take good bath, uh, do running, go out, walk, in your garden, see the world around you. So that kind of exercise is really very important for you. So to keep you going. And then so savers, I said, SAVEE is the exercise, and then is R. R is read. Read enough. You should be actually reading a lot of books. I'm going to talk to you about one book now before I summarize this topic, about the leadership primer from Collin Powel. I read a lot of books. You can see the library behind me, which I've actually collected over the last 3 decades, and keep buying books to read them. I recommend that, you at least one book a week. And if you can't do so much, then, at least one book in a fortnight, 2 books in a month is what, you should. Either if you don't want to buy, actually go to library and read, or, you borrow from someone and read, or go and read it on the internet. But do read. But just reading is not sufficient. You should also be scribing something, and you write your point of view. Do a book review for yourself. What did you learn from that book? What are the salient messages over there in that book? And you might find like something, you might not like something, not important. Write down your point of view. Why did you not like a book? Why did you like a book? And then you see whether you could have written it better. And if you find that you can't write a better book, then you can't be actually criticizing someone, right? So in order to be able to appreciate something, you need to be at a certain level. And if you are not at that level, you will not appreciate anybody's writing. So either you'll have to raise your standard and level of knowledge to be able to understand someone, or you would actually then take coaching from someone to get there. Or you can maybe simply reject it. That's not your kind of book. That's not what will. Not everything in this world, there are millions of books being written. So not everything is for you. So you find out, actually discover yourself what actually will work better for you, what will help you accomplish your mission, vision. So read and scribe, writing down, penning down your own, doing a book review, making your own notes out of those readings are very important, because that is what is going to create content in you. As much the content is there in you, you'll be able to kind of go into that lake and tap it whenever you need it. So if there is not enough content, you're not a great leader, is because the vocabulary and your capability to converse with people, address masses, address your team, influence others the way you would want them to work, will all come from the content that you have actually imbibed, and that it will all come from learning, right? So, and the tenacity to kind of learn and learn more and more and more will come from a good health, a good mind, a clarity in the head, purity in the heart, not wasting, getting into the wasteful transactions of life and business. And that is what will keep your portal open and to acquire more and more. So that is what I would say, is that savers principle. That was the fifth pillar of uh, corporate success. Now I'm going to talk to you about the some leadership lessons that I have drawn from my career, and some of these lessons are recommended by Collin Powel. There are big do's and don'ts in corporate life. And knowing what not to do is more important than what to do. So obviously that needs a lot of experience. You need to sit with people who know the best way to accomplish missions, who knows the do's and don'ts. There are some corporate ethics, integrity being one of the highest of the order. So understand them from experienced people. Uh, it is better to keep quiet sometimes than just opening your mouth and saying something. Because when you keep quiet, you have an opportunity to hear others and draw your inference, and then speak up something which actually would create an impact. Unnecessarily keeping on speaking would not really make a lot of sense. So it it's most times better to keep quiet. But then it doesn't mean that you just keep quiet all the time. Because if you don't make your point of view heard in the meetings or in conversation, then you are as good as not there, right? So point of view is important. Right or wrong is not important. And even if you raise up 90% of the time wrong point of view is also okay. But at least 10% of the time when you raise correct point of view, there is a learning happening, right? And you don't become a great leader overnight. It takes decades of experience to really become a prolific leader, who are followed by others, and who have an charismatic appearance and influence over other people. So that is what I would say in these pillars. Now coming to the lessons, obviously I was talking about few lessons over here of not doing something, not speaking all the time, and not doing certain things is more important than knowing all the doings. So do sit down. Then there are 18 lessons, given by Collin Powel, who was Chief of Army Staff in the U.S. Army. Um, so, lesson number one was that, being responsible means pissing people off sometimes. So, if you are, you're appreciative of everyone and you're not, rewarding them by merit, and inadvertently, the people who will get angered by your actions are the people who are the most productive people. Because for you, everyone is equal. You don't have merit in the whole game, and it's not a merit-based organization, right? Then why would people work hard and deliver more and do good? So being responsible means sometimes you would say you'll do hard talk and then tell them this is not going right and this is the way to go about. So that's lesson number one. The second lesson is to that you be amicable, collaborative, democratic, and let the team bring the problems to you. If you don't bring the problem, if they don't bring the problems to you, they have assumed that either you're not a good leader or you're not interested in them. You're not interested in solving their problem, and you're not interested in them. So that they will stop coming to you, and they have concluded then that you do not care whatsoever. So even if you don't know, you say, I don't know, and there is a better person to know about instead of feeling shy and hiding away. So that's a second important lesson. The third lesson is that in the arena of the professional world, there are so many experts. They have a lot of data, but they lack judgment. Okay, so don't be buffaloed by experts. Okay, because when these experts are nicked by the new world, they bleed like hemophiliac. Hemophiliac is where when the blood starts oozing, when it doesn't stop, the clotting doesn't happen. So mostly these experts, the so-called experts, some of them would have written books, etc. They are like that. They when they are nicked by the real world, they bleed to death. The next one is not being afraid to challenge the pros uh, even in their own backyard. So have that courage to be able to speak up. Lesson number 5 is never neglect details. When everyone's mind is dulled and distracted, the leader is always vigilant and it goes below the surface. And then you don't know what you can get away with until you try. So you keep trying. You don't give up so easily. Keep looking below the surface. Okay, it may be just a tip of the iceberg. So don't sink away from doing so, because so keep looking below the surface appearance. Yeah, even if you don't like it. Okay, so organizations don't really accomplish anything. Plans also do not accomplish much. The best mission is accomplished by the best people involved. If you don't have best people, then howsoever good plans you have, it is not going to really materialize. So by attracting the best people only, you can accomplish the mission. That's the lesson. And all the charts and fancy titles, that people have, I'm head of this, head of that, and everybody is head of something or the other. They don't accomplish much. Okay, they count next to nothing. The 10th lesson is don't let your ego get so close to your position that when your position goes, your ego goes with it. So most people in those positions really actually act very big, and then when that position goes, all that ego immediately vanishes. No stereotypes. Don't chase all the Gen Z and next generation, all that management fads that people have created. AI first and this fast and all that. The situation dictates which approach best accomplishes the mission. According to the situation, you take decision. Not everything going around in the world in terms of the technology trend, etc., might solve your problem. Okay. Then the perpetual optimism is a force multiplier. Fit any stereotypes. Don't chase the latest management fads. Next generation, Gen Z, AI first, right? Uh, all of them may not be useful for you, right? So stick to your core and look at the industry trends, technology trends around that core and figure out what is it that is going to make you successful. So that is more important than, chasing the latest fads, management fads, technology fad, industry fad. That's not going to really help you accomplish any mission. Okay. So for the situation that you are in with your team, that is where you'll have to find a problem. It's not there in those jargons. The perpetual optimism has to be kept over there. Uh, the rule that Powell recommended about picking up the people is that look for the intelligence and judgment. The guy has to be intelligent and should actually have some kind of judgment, and most critically, a capacity to anticipate in any situation. So now this could go wrong, this would happen, some anticipation, and see around the corners, whenever needed, and also look for loyalty in that person, integrity, because there's a lot confidential that you would deal with and you will work with your team and clients, etc. That integrity is a very, very high level of importance. What that person says in different situations to people around him. You should not talk one thing to the one person and the other thing to the other person, assuming that everything will be kept confidential. Everything goes like a grapevine and a rumor in the organization, and then you suddenly get exposed about what you are, because you've been talking different thing to different people. This is also seen as integrity. Integrity is not stealing confidential property or intellectual property all by itself. That is also integrity, but this is also another form of integrity that one must have. And then a high energy drive. Look for the passion. If you do not have passionate people in your team, howsoever big you talk about, and then you will get a pathetic lethargic response from them, and eventually you will not be able to achieve what you have set it out for. So look for that high energy, the passionate people, and a balanced ego. It should not be a egoless person. Whatever damn thing you tell, the person doesn't really mind anything. It's like everything is fine and fair with that person or your team. So look for a balanced ego. They should feel bad about things being told to them, right? Get people with some amount of ego that if you tell them hard things, they feel bad. If they feel bad about it, they will work towards it and make sure that you don't say something that they feel bad about. At the same time, when you have been harsh to some people, spend time, pat on their back, but in 1:1, tell them, why you've been doing certain things to them, let them not get into some silos of their mind and sulk there, sitting around in some corner. And then in order to try to get the thick stuff, like, not that, if everything was there, I would have done it. I needed a great team. I don't have a great team, so I can't do it. Like the people, who are accomplishers, who would, go around the corner, find out some resources, begin with something. In one of the Paul's lessons is that if you have P is equal to 40 to 70% of the information, then go with your gut. Don't wait for a 100% information. That never happens in the corporate life. That, you have everything. You got 100% of information, all the 100% tools, the best team to accomplish that mission, best course set, the best plans created, all the best designs and architectures there with you. Then why are you needed? Then you would actually not be needed. The team itself will do it, right? So there is never time in corporate life and you would have 100% thing. And at best what happens is the percentage of information, the tools and the assets and the resources you need would not exceed 50 to 60%. It starts from 40 to max 70% is where you will have to begin with at 40%. So, but if you don't have 40%, less than 40% you have, then probably you are entering a big risk. There's a lot of assumption which has been created over here. So be careful, be mindful, look at the risk, make your risk register, and look at the organization capability to manage that risk appetite. There should be some resources and a backup to fulfill, in the time to come. Not everything will happen in future. You need to provision for. So when you do that, you will be able to get things done, right? The other lesson is that you have to simplify, right? The great leaders are always great simplifiers. If you don't simplify, your ability to simplify things is what will be liked by your peers, your team members, your customers. And if you use jargons, complicate, if you're not understood, you will make the other person confused. And if you have understood, you have the inherent ability to make the other person understand. And if you are confusing somebody, complicating the subject and the matter, it is very obvious that you don't understand. So the dance that you are making in front of everyone, you are not aware that this is a peacock dance, that you're getting nude in front of everyone, assuming that you're looking very beautiful. No, you're not. By using words and sentences and idioms and phrases, you don't cover anything. You cannot. It's because the organizations are meant for achieving a target, a success, accomplish the mission. They're not there to hear literature from you or jargons from you, all the complications. So your ability to simplify things and put them in the minimum words, being transparent, being upfront, mixing no words, coming to the point is very, very, very important. And that is the only way you will be able to cut through arguments, doubts and debates, and offer a solution that everybody can understand and appreciate. If you don't do this, what you are doing is just delaying and then creating problem for yourself and the organization. And your leaders, your supervisors will not like it because they now realize that you are the biggest risk. It's because you are hiding information. You are trying to cover up by words, by English, or by the language that you use for your official communication. They will not trust you. They will not keep you in the team. You know what? In the corporate world, what is said is that bad news first, good news can wait. So give the bad news first. If you don't know something, you say, I don't know. There will be somebody in your team, in your organization who would know that thing. Either you go spend time with that person to get that knowledge and do it then later, or you pass it on to someone else who does it best. So that's also a good sign of a leader, to be knowing your strength and playing your strength and not hiding behind a pseudo capability is the bare minimum that an organization will expect from you. So don't create fire and then hide the fire. Let the fire be known to everyone and it will be extinguished. Okay. And your contribution to notifying about that fire would be appreciated. Okay. So give the bad news first. Good news can wait. If you don't know, you don't know. There is no way by hiding that information you will gain anything, right? And then you will certainly lose your credibility, right? So keeping your credibility is very important. Should be a team player. So that's what it says. And the next is about what I said is if the probability of a success is P, and then 40 to 70% is the percentage of information required. If you have it between this 40 to 70, don't wait. Go ahead with your cuts. Because every situation is different. That is why project managers are required. That is why projects are created, right? It has a start and it has an end. and it has a timeline in which a lot of invariabilities and variabilities both are addressed. Dependencies and no dependencies are addressed. That's what a project plan is all about. So, go ahead with your gut. Don't wait for 100% information to accomplish the mission. Uh, the next is like, the commander in the field is always right. If you have a boss, don't draw judgment about that boss, right? He has been put as a boss by someone who would have seen some abilities and qualities in him or her, and that is why he is at the job, right? He might be a wrong choice, but then if he has been a wrong choice for quite some time, I don't think the organization will absorb him. Will be removed, okay? Because there will be, it's not just you who are the whistleblower and escalator. The client will also escalate, and the client escalations are much more powerful than you, right? But you don't be the insider to give information to the client that this person or this boss is bad, right? Don't do that, right? So you have to always follow the command. If you have a supervisor, believe in his command. Trust. The rear echelon is always wrong. In the army, it is said that if the commander says shoot, shoot, fire, fire, jump, jump, die, die. That's it. So do not challenge that because you are at a war now. You are part of a project, whatever it is. Post the project, you can do post-mortem and do all the analysis, do the feedback sessions, etc. Life doesn't, and life and the corporate life and the career doesn't get over with one project. There is more to come, right? Wait for that. You do your duties till the project is over, right? But that is how you are seen as a good professional. And then also, when you take up that sense of responsibility, you are actually exhibiting the entrepreneurial quality. The board will trust you, the organization will trust you for that future leader in you if you exhibit all these behavior. So the commander is always right, the rear echelon is always wrong, unless proven otherwise. So don't prove it then and there. There will be time, or maybe, in the due course of operation, it is all naturally proven that what the commander was saying was wrong. And a good commander will be to kind of accept it there and there and give the credit to people who were notifying, alerting, and giving the early warning system to the team. The next lesson is having the fun in your command. When you are a commander, have fun. Don't always run at a breakneck pace. Do this working 18 hours every day. Spend time with your family. Give time to your team. Take them for team meetings, team lunch, team dinner. Have some gatherings with them. Surround yourself with people, who take their work seriously, not themselves. And then I'm going to die. Take your work seriously, but have fun. Work hard and party hard, kind of. So that is something that you must do. And that the command is always lonely. When you are at the top, so by doing this and exhibiting such behaviors, you would definitely reach the ladder and then climb higher the rung. So when you reach higher, you will feel that you are alone. Maybe there is a single person sitting in that cabin and everybody is busy. You've delegated well, you've managed well, you've planned well, you've controlled well, you understand your client, they understand their expectation, you're working towards customer satisfaction, you're drawing the service improvement plan, you're drawing the delivery improvement plan. All that is being done by you, but you're still sitting alone in that office of your command, and you got to develop that ability to work alone. Okay, because then that position demands much more from your creativity, innovation, leadership alignment, vision alignment, purpose fulfillment. A lot to do for the others, giving the feedback to people, planning for their development, provisioning for budgets, forecasting, etc., etc. There is a lot that you would do alone, for which the team may not be involved in because those works are confidential work. They are strategic in nature, so you can't reveal them. So you have to. So you can't be a team player all your life. You've got to be able to work alone as a leader in your close room, and then go out only disseminate some part of the information, not all. So summarizing that, you learned about 5 pillars of the corporate success, uh, and then some leadership lessons. If you apply them, so the first five were that there was a purpose, vision, mission, and the goal. Understand, align it well. Then about the core value, uh, the the organization will have different core values, and you need to understand those core values, exhibit them, hit core values are published, and that I am actually exhibiting those core values for your team to follow and your leader to follow. Then was this becoming aware, increasing your awareness, what kind of a leader you are, what kind of a person you are. Know all those, Joe Harry window that I talked about, 4 windows, and then increase your awareness. Know the world, know yourself, know what you don't know what others don't know, so that you tell them more about you. Have conversation, exhibit more, talk a lot, talk more, not a lot, talk more, and let people know about you. And then the fourth was the transaction analysis I talked about, where parent, adult, and ego states are. How do you manage your stimuli responses so that there is an adult to adult response? And then managing the difficult conversations, right? In situations where you're working with a team, you're working with a set of people, making sure the feedbacks are, given and feedbacks are taken both ways. And then the fifth was the savers, sleep, affirm, visualize, exercise, read, and scribe. Practice these things to be at your best, to be able to do more. And then about the 18 lessons of Collin Powell, which would actually make you a good leader. So these are called leadership primers. So if you put these two things together, there is a lot to draw lessons upon. And this is a continuous process. There is no charts that can actually make you successful. You learn things from your experience, do it in a different way. You need not copy someone, you would do it in your own way. So do it, and make sure you take feedback from others. There'll be more sessions that I will have on corporate excellence, where I'll talk about some more things on how to manage teams, how to manage projects, how to manage customers, how to manage service delivery, how to manage large implementations, uh, and different sizes of the project's implementation, etc. Some lessons drawn that I have drawn from my life, I would compile them in a way that you guys understand it. My attempt is that whatever I have learned in my life, I pass on to the world before I hang my boots and before I go away from the active life. Uh, so thank you so much for listening to me, and have a blessed life again, and a happy, successful career excellence ahead of you. Thank you.